All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Chris Allen Recap number 21. So, for this one, I'm pulling out the animated GIF because we're going to be tackling two topics today, not just one. We're going to do the double decker supreme on this one. So, the two topics are as follows. Number one is basically relating to gaming and how gaming has been influenced by business and how that's kind of a bad thing. And full transparency's sake, I'm talking about this because Asmongold started talking about this with how he hates WoW. Well, not how he hates WoW. How he's upset at WoW and what Activision is doing. I was gonna say Treyarch, but I'm mixing up with the second topic, which is us talking about the new zombie map and how I feel and how it is. Was it worth the wait? And so on and so forth. But back to the first topic. I actually thought about this so much that I actually wrote a script for it. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to read off the script or just go free-handed style, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I thought about this because Asmongold mentioned it with Activision Blizzard fucking up their own game and having the mass exodus to Final Fantasy with all their player base. Or at least that's how it looks. But anyway, so I've mentioned this before in some of the other Chris Allen recaps, and that is that games from the past are more fun than games currently. And although games currently... Let me actually read what I have here. So games currently, they haven't really gotten worse per se. Like, they're not terrible games. Overall, the quality in some areas has really gone up, like graphics, audio, visual, sometimes gameplay mechanics, just responsiveness. The whole systems in the game, they've gotten better depending on each game, But overall, it's not as fun, and I think there's a big reason for that. And the big reason for that is because business has got involved in gaming, and it's the type of people who work and make these games now at all these AAA studios. And AAA studios actually have like a big part of this conversation to do with, but we'll get into that. So obviously the elephant in the room, which I know, I'm trying to play devil's advocate for myself, is but it was just because you played those games when you were a kid and you were nostalgic about them. That's why you view them with this tainted lens of like, oh, they can only be good. Not true. Although I would understand the sentiment. Obviously, when you play games as a kid, I feel as if they were more fun. But I also do think games when I was younger were just better than games now. And it's mostly a shift in how games are made. Again, because people that are more for the business side of things have permeated into the gaming landscape. Now, what do I mean by this? Aside from nostalgia, right? I think games have lost an element of fun. And again, I'm going to keep going back to this. It's because of who's making them now. Games used to be made by people who loved games, right? In the past, games were only made by gamers because that's the only people who cared to make them. And there were some really, really fucking good games made. Not to say there aren't good games now, although I would argue they're a lot rarer. It's a lot more rare to... I don't even know if that's proper fucking vocabulary, but it's a lot rarer... That sounds so wrong. It's a lot more rare to find a game that's good than to sift through games that are mediocre, decently fun enough, but like aren't hooking you in. I remember when I was a kid, I used to play all these games like, Sonic games, fucking Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. Oh man, even a Powerpuff Girls game I had on my Game Boy. That I was like, damn, should I really be playing this? It's like a girl's game, but it was fun as fuck. I was like, fuck it. But those games were like so fun, and I could remember most of the games I got as a kid were fun-ass games. Now, granted, I couldn't get many games as a kid. I don't know why I'm doing that so often. I couldn't get many games as a kid, but every game I did get mostly sticks in my memory even until now. Like, they were so fucking good. Now, a lot of games now, you play them and you mostly forget about them. One big thing, and again, I've talked about this before, is games are leading to a subscription model, or not subscription model, an always online as a service model. So games, back in the day, yeah, they had some multiplayer, and the multiplayer was fucking damn good. I remember playing Halo Reach multiplayer, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. Those multiplayers were so fucking fun. But now the multiplayers have been like pervaded. First we had the loot box like whole bonanza for a while. Now we have the battle pass bonanza, and it's like, Jesus Christ, there always has to be something, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily detract from the game too much in my eyes. I know a lot of people hate them, and I can kind of see why, although I do like the loot box side of things. Battle pass, I don't really like time-gated stuff. I like events if they come back, and I do like the idea that battle pass event stuff is you can never get it again because it was part of that battle pass, but I just hate the time limit, and I hate how they have to rush you through things. You have to play the game more than you want to, but I'm diverging. Anyway, back to the main topic at hand. So games are now run. Okay, so here's the whole thing of what I'm trying to say, to put it in simple layman terms. Games were made by gamers in the beginning, and then, despite everyone's best like thoughts of like, wow, you know, gamers, lower class, non-citizens in society, gamers had it tough, man. Gamers were viewed as like shit, like, oh, you're making games, you're a nerd, like, oh, you like coding. Now look, now all the jobs that are paying like the most and like the most valued are the ones for the nerds, and it was like a cultural shift. Now the people, everyone wants to get into like the gaming industry. Well, I hope no one does, but because the gaming industry is fucking brutal with the coding and just the amount of hours you have to put into work. But again, I'm digressing. Once the business people saw that games were profitable, business people and people in general who had no interest or love for games went into the gaming landscape. And now these are the people that are making our games that are disconnected from how games are supposed to be and what makes games fun and what people actually want, because they only care about profit. Now, obviously, you do need some profit if you're making games. That helps you create better games. But that's if it's originally founded by someone who's making the game because they love games, not someone who's making a game because they want to earn money. It's the same thing with Twitch and YouTube. If you go into Twitch and YouTube wanting to make money, most likely than not, I mean, yeah, you might be really good at wanting to make money, and that might help you in very select cases. I'm sure certain people who want to make money only going into Twitch and YouTube for that can make it, but it's a vast minority of them. Most of the time, you have to like what you're doing for it to be good. And it's the same thing with making games. So basically, the business people got attracted by all the money that the actual people who made great games were making, and now we're filled with people who make mediocre stuff and stuff just for profit, right? And a kind of similar example is I forgot if I brought this up in another Croissant recap, but I think I did. It's the whole thing of like, it's the same thing that happened with doctors, right? Doctors, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me explain the premise to this. So, what doesn't help is that gamers themselves don't really care. Like, there's very few people, I think, who play games who actually want to make games, right? And the vast majority of what's happening now with the loot boxes, which, is kind of over, but the battle pass system, the games as a service system of drip feeding us content, and like you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that, DLC, microtransactions, all that stuff. The vast majority of people do not care, and that's the issue. The vocal people who are complaining about this shit are the minority, right? They're the ones that care, but it doesn't matter, because I'll put it to you this way, right? When microtransactions and stuff are introduced into games, most people end up buying it because it appeals to the casual player, and the casual player isn't going to complain about that stuff, even if it's bad for the game. Because like I said, once it creates money that way, it de-incentivizes people who are actually good at creating games, and it just incentivizes people who are good at business and want to make money to come towards the gaming industry. I feel like it's a self-fulfilling thing. The more money they make doing bad things, because normal casual people don't care, the more they attract people who are going to come into the industry and just make like games just for profit and not really that fun. Now, don't get me wrong, like I said before, they're not like completely unfun. They're not terrible games. And in fact, visually and I guess audio side, they've gone leaps and bounds, but that's just, with the passing time. But in general, just fun has been lowered. So now we got to the doctors, which I skipped ahead a little bit before with, but it's the same thing with doctors, right? Doctors focus on doctoring, and when it came time to make like the laws and stuff and the rules for the hospital regarding doctors and insurance and stuff, the doctors didn't want to care or had enough time to really say anything and put an input in. It's kind of similar with gamers. I would say mostly we just don't fucking give a shit. Like, how many times have have you been asked after a game, and I have a perfect example with League of Legends, right? How many times after you've played a game and the game says, "Oh, you want to take a quick survey about the game?" Unless you hate the game profusely, like me, and you just write, "Oh, this game's shit, your balance is shit, this champion's overpowered, fuck you." How many times do you actually, and do people actually go in and provide criticism and feedback? They don't give a shit. They just want to fucking X that out and go to the next game and play a game they don't really like and keep complaining about it. I'm the same way. Although I do try and answer those surveys honestly, because I think opinions matter. But in general, same thing kind of happened with doctors, and the same thing's happening with gamers. The casual gamers, which is the vast majority, which are just going to keep throwing money at these major corporations, which in turn makes them hire more business people to make more money and not actual gamers, ends up being bad for all of us in general, I feel like. But the casuals don't fucking care, so I don't really see a solution to this. It's really hard. Now, I feel as if this is just going to end up getting worse and worse and worse, right? There's going to be, until it hits a breaking point, it's going to be like a downhill trend of just games are going to be more and more for making money. Yeah, they're going to be decently fun, but it's going to keep going down and down and down until eventually the games get so bad this is specifically talking about like AAA studios, right? Because they invest a lot into a game and they hire idiots who are like business mostly like business majors, I guess. But eventually it's going to get to a breaking point like it is with World of Warcraft, where it's going to start burning itself down, and eventually there needs to be a mass exodus. There needs to be a mass push for just new blood, and it needs to be the right people. I think until we get to the breaking point of people are just sick of these fucking lackluster, generic, whatever games that are okay, decently fun, but they aren't like great fucking memorable games. And there are memorable games that come out. I'm not saying, they don't exist, but I'm talking overall in general. A lot of the games we get now are fucking shit. I'm looking at the fucking sports games. NBA, more specifically. But anyway, I feel until we hit that major breaking point of it's so shit, people are just not going to like play it, and the business is going to be like, okay, something's not working, let's fire all these people and let's get new people, and hopefully they hire the right people. But even then, it's going to be a hit or miss. The only thing that I can see kind of alleviating this is indie studios, right? Indie studios, you don't go into, well, obviously, again, there's some studios that are just made to make money, but most of the time, they go to AAA studios because that's guaranteed money. Indie studios are like very hit or miss. I feel as if most of the people who make indie studios really like games, have next to no money, and are either banking on their people are gonna like their game and they're gonna make money to make it better. But in general, they have to like games to be going into it. That's what I feel with indie studios. But the problem is, it's a cycle, right? It's like a corrupting force. Once the indie studio has a hit and makes a great game, usually when they start making sequels and stuff, they get shitty. Why? Because look what I said before. The indie company makes the great game. It's huge, it makes a lot of money, they expand their team, or they want to, get bigger stuff. They hire more people to make, better games. And then look what happens. Because they made so much money, it attracts business people, not necessarily gaming people, and then it ruins it. And the cycle starts all over. So it's ultimately like, it's mostly on indie studios, I think, to fix this problem of coming out with great games. A lot of AAA games nowadays, when I play them, I don't find them too fun. I'm going to be honest. I'm not looking forward to many AAA games. Risk of Rain 2, that was a studio of fucking 2 guys, and now they're expanding it, and I would argue, I'm decently happy with the expansions of Risk of Rain 2, but in general, indie studio, great game. Team Cherry, same shit. Hollow Knight, great game. Now, I'm worried for their futures, especially with Hollow Knight 2 not fucking releasing Silksong, but in general, I think it's a cycle of a company comes, they make great money off of a great game because they have passion for it, because it's filled with passionate people who care. And then, because they make so much money, people who don't care about games but care about money come in, they ruin it, and then a new indie company has to come and make great games for us again. And again, this isn't like a hard set rule. I'm going to keep emphasizing this because I don't want to set anything in like stone and black and white, but in general, this is the cycle I see with like stuff. Indie studio comes, great game, great studio gets ruined by people who come in, and then new studio comes up. Some studios stick around obviously because they're fucking behemoths and they get bought up by Microsoft, but there's no stopping that. But anyway, what else do I have written here? I basically didn't use the script at all. I don't even know why the fuck I had this thing, but oh, another thing I put is either which I kind of said with Microsoft anyway, but either the indie studio gets big and hires people and they ruin the studio because they're business, or they get bought out by people who are already ruining the business, like Tencent. I'm looking at you, Riot Games. Like, I could see a major shift in the type of skins made by Riot after they were bought by Tencent. It was a lot of anime, like, Asian-themed skins that would appeal to that audience, which isn't a bad thing. I enjoy the skins too, but it was definitely a shift, right? Because they're trying to appease their audience, and they want to make the most money, because that's what Tencent is after. Money. I'm not saying that they didn't help League. They probably fund it like crazy, you know, because Riot makes billions of dollars and Tencent has billions of dollars too, but it definitely changed the game. For the better or for the worse, I don't know. I think it's for the worse, because so many of these skin lines, like, they're okay. I don't mind them. Some of them I really like Battle Academia, but most of the skin lines in League are so tailored for the Asian audience. It's crazy, because they're all about the mobile game there. Like, it's fucking crazy. But in general, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I want to say on this topic? I mean, like, what is this shit? Pistachios, and then they're making me choke. In general, no. I think that's basically it. I don't want to keep repeating myself because I have a bad habit of doing that. But in general, I don't know. Over time, I feel like games just got less and less fun. Now, maybe it's because I'm more and more jaded, but when I find a good game, and I play the shit out of it. Warframe, which I picked up like a year and change ago, for like the third time, I finally got into it, and I played it non-stop every day for like 10 hours. I have like almost 700 hours on that shit. It's crazy how much I play that every day, because I was like, this is actually a really good, fun game. So I know for like a fact it's not me. Well, it's partly me. You know, I don't find as much stuff fun anymore because I'm not a little kid. But in general, if there's a game that's good and I like it and I think it's good, it's not that I don't want to play games anymore. It's just the games I'm playing just don't keep me. I could play a game for 10 hours easily if it's a great game and I want to do stuff in it. Now, maybe I might be more tired than I was as a kid, but I could definitely play games still. It's just I'm not interested in doing it for that long. Look, I could barely handle League for like 3 hours before my brain melts, but that's League of Legends. But any game I play now, Fortnite, League, Genshin is the one exception. I'm finding Genshin really fun again. So I've been playing it for like hours, and I lose myself to like the time in the game. Like, I look at the clock, I'm like, holy shit, like 5 hours passed and I was just playing Genshin? Wow. But we'll leave the topic there. I'm very scared for where the gaming industry is going, because like I said, it doesn't look like it's changing as long as more money is being gained and just hardcore actual gamers are suffering and the casuals don't care and they're just going to keep throwing money. So we'll leave it at that. So now for the second part, finally at, how long are we in here? 19 minutes, not bad. Let's talk about the new map. I don't have a script for this, so this is going to be even worse than the last one. But, new map, Mauer Der Toten. So, for those of you who don't know, which I don't know how you fucking don't, but the controversy with Cold War, aside from people hating it, which people do every year, is there was no content in the zombies mode. And people will argue that, no, they added content, look at Outbreak, to which I've explained in other Chris Allen recaps, that's not fucking actual content. There's a difference between actual content and just content to pad it, right? The best way I could describe it is like filler episodes in an anime. It's like, yeah, you have the actual arcs, which in my opinion are the survival maps, and Outbreak when it initially released, that were like, okay, cool, this is new, this is unique, we like it, we want more, and then they give us filler arcs saying, oh, but we're giving you stuff. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. So, as I've said before, aside from the Outbreak shitfest that we've waited 6 months almost for this new map. When traditionally, we'd wait like 2 to 3 months for a new Zombies map every time, right? And this game, Cold War, had one of the weakest launches for zombies in a while. Aside from, World at War. Did I say World at War or Cold War? I think I said Cold War. World at War had, zombies mode with Nocturne and Tone, and that's it. And look at that map. That map had nothing. Black Ops had 2 maps. All the other games had, like, at least 2 maps, right? Cold War just had Die Maschine and Dead Ops. And if you don't count Dead Ops, just Die Maschine. So, this game already had little content in general. And because we had to wait so long getting fucking Outbreak filler maps, which, again, were shit, because they didn't change anything, and Outbreak in general has really, like, disappointed me with how much it could have done and how much it's actually doing. It's really just boring and for casuals. And casuals love it, I guess, because round base is too hard. I don't know. But in general, we've waited 6 months for this map, right? Is it worth it? My honest answer, no. And I don't think, like, Cold War is going to really change my mind anymore. Not to say the map is bad. The map is not bad. Oh. Thank you. Ne, okitora. Ako matro. Anyway, as I'm rudely interrupted by my family every day. But they give me food, so it's okay. God damn it, that interrupted my whole flow. You can see how great these Chris Allen recaps are. Yeah, so was this map worth 6 months of wait? I would say no. It has a lot of polish on it. It looks like it had a lot of ideas, but just looking at the map from when I first played it till now, obviously I should play it a little bit more and form much better of an opinion. Well, not much better of opinion. This is basically my opinion, and it's not going to change too much. This map should have come out in the regular cycle of how we should have had maps. In my opinion, if this game started off with Firebase Z and Die Maschine, they both felt like they were launch maps. This map feels like it's a DLC map, and it actually feels like they took their time, they thought about stuff to put in it. It's a little unique, and I'll get to the big issue I have with it. But it feels like a DLC map, and it feels like they added in more, and it's better than Firebase Z and Die Maschine. It's definitely better than those 2 maps, for sure. But was it worth the wait? No, it fucking was not. And this is in general what Cold War does that a lot of people, a lot of like hardcore zombies fans don't like. It's that they made it very super casual. The Easter eggs are easy to solve. Zombies is definitely easier to get to higher rounds. A lot of stuff just helps you kill. There's no perk limit. The guns do a lot more damage than they used to. The zombies' health caps out. It's super casual, and that's great. But I feel like in every avenue there is, they try to go super casual. The weapons. There's no real weapon that's like super bad. Before there were weapons that were super bad, in this one, any weapon can be kind of viable. Perk limit, it doesn't exist, so all perks are great. You just become a super powered animal. Zombie health cap, same shit. In every avenue, I feel like they made it too good, or too casual, and the few avenues I feel like they shouldn't have made it too casual is the Easter eggs. The Easter eggs and the main story quests, which I kind of count them as 2 different things at this point. We'll call them side Easter eggs and main Easter eggs. The main Easter egg, they should not have made super casual. Side Easter eggs, fine, make them casual. But the main Easter egg, they should not have. Usually maps had a life cycle, right? Now, granted, it wasn't that long anyway until you were into going for higher rounds, which I think at this point in this game no one cares. At least I don't, because it doesn't really mean anything. But the maps had a life cycle of like, okay, we have to explore, we have to find all the secrets, the ciphers, we have to solve this puzzle, which is going to take us like a fucking week, and then you don't know how many puzzles are on the map because they hide so many secrets in them. All the old school stuff was so good because it had a long life. The new zombie maps and Outbreak and all the main quests and the side quests and everything, for this game Cold War, they're found out within like 2 fucking days. Like, aside from like little things here and there, I believe we found everything for Mauer Der Toten so far. Maybe we'll find like a couple more things like here and there in the coming like week or maybe 2, and that's pushing it. But in general, the map came out, we had our fun with it, we found out the Easter egg within a day and did it. The Easter egg's not too hard either. And like, it just makes the life of the map so much shorter because people are like, okay, we've basically found everything, now we just gotta play the map, and high rounds aren't as enticing as they used to be, so why the fuck would I play this shit? I don't know. It's a great map, don't get me wrong. It wasn't worth the wait, and my major gripe with it is it's literally just reused campaign. I don't know how they put so much time into this map, and I honestly don't see where it went. Again, I can imagine them doing this in like 3 months, especially from the fact that it's mostly just the campaign area, which they already had. Yeah, they spruced it up. Yeah, they changed its look a little bit. They added cars here, debris there, blood splatter everywhere, and they did add some new areas, but it's very little. The map isn't too big. No survival map on Cold War is like that big, or hard to navigate. I guess this one's a little annoying with the zip lines and stuff, and the fact that you can't jump off some buildings, like the spawn one. But in general, I remember, in general, it's not that big. I remember when me and Hunter were playing for the first time, right? We were exploring the map. We were expecting it to be like really small, right? We went underground and then we went above ground, and we didn't know where we were because we kind of got disoriented in the underground part. And when we came back up, we were in the spawn side of the map, and we thought it was new because we went from Pack-a-Punch. Like, we went up, we went to Pack-a-Punch, and then we went back to the spawn side of the map because we thought it was new because you had to open the door back there. And we thought the map size was literally like doubled. And when we found out it wasn't, we were a little upset. But when we thought it was doubled, we were like, okay, this is a pretty decently sized map if you could like have all these vertical buildings on both West and East Berlin. We were like, okay, this is kind of good. Maybe we waited long enough to finally get a good map. Maybe this is what they put the work into. But no, they just added the two little wiener buildings with the Wonder Fizz and the crafting table on the other side and called it a day. So, again, my major gripe is, if they took a campaign map, didn't really change around, I understand they reuse assets. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about they're saying they put in so much work into this map, 8+ months, and I don't see it. I really do not fucking see it. Like, before they took small pieces of the campaign, maybe, and made them part of the zombie map, this is a huge fucking part of the fucking campaign. Are you shitting me? Like, it's literally the whole spot of what we did before. They literally just ripped it from the campaign and reskinned it and added a couple new areas. And they're saying this took 8 fucking months to add the polish and a couple new areas? Get the fuck out of here, bruh. It's so annoying. But this makes me worried for the future of the next map, which is probably the final survival map, because then we're going to get more outbreak shit, which is going to be ass. Again, they said they were going to give us specific outbreak maps just for outbreak. No going to fucking fire team, no going to multiplayer, just for outbreak. And you know what that meant? It meant, yeah, we're just going to give you a multiplayer map. It looks fucking like a multiplayer map, but it's going to be just for you guys. We're not giving it to multiplayer. Instead of an actual zombies themed things, but I've talked about that enough on my other Chris Allen recaps to basically end it here and consolidate my thoughts on both of the topics I've talked about very shittily. You know, I really hate doing these sometimes because I feel like they're so shit, but I want to get my opinion out there. For the first topic, games making money is a great thing, but it was also a bad thing because it attracted the wrong type of people to end up making games. It attracted people who don't care about games, they care about money, and that's ruining the industry, in my opinion. Although that doesn't mean there aren't great games that come out, and AAA studios, which is the main perpetrator of this, can't make great games. I just feel like in general, we have to sift through a lot of shit to get to the good now. And the good doesn't come as often. And again, with Mauer Der Toten, it's a pretty good map. It's the best in the game so far. But it was not worth the wait, in my opinion. And it makes me really scared for the last map. I mean, the last map is probably going to be good. I don't know if it'll be better than this one, honestly. But we're probably going to get more Outbreak bullshit, and the last map is going to be okay, decent. But overall, the Zombies experience, it's been good. It introduced a great system, great bones, just very little meat. It's like an anorexic person with like barely any meat on their bones. The bones are strong as hell. Like they're like titanium bones, but there's no meat on the person's body. Like they're starving, which is us. We're starving for fucking content. Man, I'm just really scared we won't get the next map till like September or something, bruh. I'm really scared. Or October. Oh my god, if it's October, I'm gonna fucking cry. But yeah, I'm just really like done with Cold War for the most part. I played the map, I had my fun on it, I did the Easter egg, I did all the side Easter eggs, and I'm like, okay, what reason do I have to play this game anymore? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the topics we talked about, although I feel like it was really all over the place and shitty, but that's every Chris-On recap. If you agreed or disagreed or have any opinions of your own, please tell them to me in the comments. I'm a small enough channel to actually read all my comments, if I even get any. And if so, I'll reply to you, or I'll see your opinion and maybe tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm getting out of here. Peace out, baby.